Our visits with the spirits of Wickland start out in the front parlor, or what the Wycliffes call the music room. And at that point, everybody is assembled, and we introduce myself, and I talk about the history of Wickland, just kind of what I did earlier on. And then I introduce Michael and Katie. And before we leave the room, we do have a prayer of protection for everyone, just as a to make us feel a little more at ease, because we are going to be visiting spirits, and there's a lot of concern about whether spirits are really devils or are evil or all of that. So we say a prayer of protection, and that kind of gets us off on a good foot here.
After we do the sit down, talk to people in the very beginning, we start heading into the basement. In the basement, there's a man, his name's Benjamin Ford, and he's a ghost because he's not a good man. He didn't tell me his name. He wouldn't talk to me at all, really, but basically told me to get out of his face. He told my sister his name, but the only thing I really got from him that we both kind of got that was alike, that he was a carpenter in the basement. Michael got her hair pulled by that Ben. But what I do with Ben, I stand in front of the door, and Katie stands in front of the doorway to try to kind of block Ben, but Ben wants to come in. It doesn't make any difference. We're going to stand there. But he has come in and actually made the rods move, which was something different. After we're in the basement a while, which we've been standing maybe 35, 40 minutes, we go upstairs to the dining room and sit down for about 10 minutes. Another person in the house or spirit is Walida. She's a slave cook in the kitchen. She's not a bad person at all. She's actually really, really nice, and she's really funny. She's got a great personality. She's really, really dark, kind of heavy set, and she gets mad when we call her fat. She's not a ghost, she's a spirit, and she's really, really powerful. Walita is the cook in the kitchen, and she came up with a statement. The spirit children were running through the kitchen, calling, saying, "Pony Boy's coming, Pony Boy's coming." Well, Michael said, "Do we have the Pony Express?" And I said, "No, we didn't have the Pony Express." And I'm making notes all this time. In a few minutes, she said, "There is a rider on horseback with saddlebags, and he's driving, riding up down the lane." And I'm shaking my head thinking, why would they be doing this? And all of a sudden, in my mind, went back to Civil War, when Charles Anderson Wycliffe, who a former Postmaster General in the United States, hired Joseph Odd to deliver the mail, taking it from Bardstown to Louisville and from Louisville to Bardstown, on the stagecoach and by horseback. Meanwhile, while I'm thinking this through, Michael had kept going back. She said, it's James or John, and this was Joseph Odd. Okay. Sorry. That kind of took a while for her to get out. She loves playing with the rods too, so we're going to do that in here. But she's really, really stronger than the man downstairs. Another spirit in that house is Sam. I don't really know his last name, but I know he's a little boy. He's 5 years old. He didn't live in the house, but he fell off the second floor of the house on a staircase and broke his neck. He follows me every time I'm in Wickland. He pretty much grabs onto me like I'm his mom, and he just like a really clingy type person, and he wants to play. That's all he wants to do is play. Another person is Dorsey. She's another slave in the house. My sister really picks up on her more than me, but it's weird because I pick up on Sam and she doesn't, and she picks up on Dorsey and I don't. So it's whoever we can communicate better with, but they all have stories to tell. Each visit is different. There's not been any visit, any program that was exactly like another one. They may start out similar, we may see the same spirits, but what happens during that time is always different. The dowsing rods, the brass rods that we use that are conducting energy from the spirit, from the person who's holding them, and making them cross and bob up and down and point to people, all of that is fascinating to watch. And the people holding the rods, their faces are always interesting to watch because they can't believe they're moving and they're not moving them.
But the reality there is if you have a lot of energy in your own system, and the Spirit can tap into that and help move those rods. The first time I picked up one and it started spinning like a top, I almost dropped it.
Swing it all the way out, Lita. She called you a big thing. I was scared too. My worst fear.
But after we've been working with it, we realized that different people have different experiences with it.
I was holding them and I was, thinking I did not want them to move, and they moved anyway.
It is visual, and a lot of people have to have something visual. One of the fascinating things is for people to give the rods an order in their own mind. Mentally, silently tell the rods to do something, and they do it. And I'm sure there's more explanations out there than I can give about it, but it's still entertaining. And that's really what our visits do. Our visits entertain.
I was kind of skeptical until I had to hold the rods, and in my mind I was trying to keep the rods from moving, but I definitely felt something, some kind of force on the rods. It was just really interesting, and it makes me think a little bit more about what's beyond the afterlife, and spirits and things of that nature. So it was really neat.
Definitely an interesting experience. I'm a definite believer.
We went down into the basement area, and I reckon it was maybe a cellar or something like that. We did do a little test to see if there was activity down there. They had some brass rods that we was holding, and they was actually in contact with one of the spirits. And what they had done, they'd asked the spirit to cross the rods and move them around. So there was some activity there, so it was pretty interesting.
I thought Katie and Michael did a real good job. They were straight up front. They didn't seem to be hokey. They seemed to be sincere with what they're doing, and it just seemed like they're still learning a lot about some of their gifts and talents that they've been blessed with. So I think it was they did a really good job.
I have a lot of compassion for them because I feel like they're very authentic. Because the things that they describe, it's almost like they don't have the terminology to describe it. But I have a lot of compassion for them because that would be a heavy weight to bear, heavy load to carry.
We intend to continue these programs as long as there's interest in the public. We're going to do them through November on Saturday nights, and for special groups, if you have a group of 10 or more, we will set up a special time, afternoon, evening, whatever time suits people. After Christmas, the month of December, we will not be doing it, but after Christmas, in January and February, we hope to continue this because we feel like, again, it's an entertaining and an educational program that will benefit Wickland and also provide entertainment for the people here in Bardstown and those who come to visit. To contact the Friends of Wickland and myself, the telephone number is 502-507-0808, and that's for reservations and any other information. That's a cell phone number, and I usually have it in my blue jean pocket.